our whole effort throughout with federalism, 13th Amendment and every form that we have looked at, and the BC Pact and Dudley Selnaker Children Act Pact, all of that is an attempt to isolate one group of people or citizens of a country to a territorial entity in some part of the country. I don't think that sort of isolation is going to foster reconciliation. More and more isolation will mean drifting apart. So my question is there any other arrangement that needs to be explored by Sri Lanka Inc. and other organizations, urging the politicians to consider alternatives to the single track approach we have been pursuing for the last 30, 40 years of devolution? That's my question to the panel. If anybody volunteers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Laduheti. I find myself on the other side of that contention. Consider a family. If you think that you can keep an 18-year-old or 15-year-old or 14-year-old kid as parents in your bedroom, you're asking for a lot of trouble. Even children, and I'm not saying that the national minorities in Sri Lanka should be treated as children, but even children need their own rooms. They need an irreducible space. If not, it's likely they'll go over the wall with the neighbor or the neighbor's son or daughter. So, the Tamil people of this country have a collective identity which you cannot wish away. That identity needs to be accommodated. It cannot be accommodated to the degree that the Tamil people probably think, because their self-perception is, I think, a little inflated, because they do not wish to accept what the Northern Ireland Catholics accepted for themselves as part of the Good Friday Agreement. But even if there's an embellishment, all of us have, egos, communities have egos. Sinhalese have a collective ego. The Tamils have a collective ego. That cannot be wished away. It cannot be appeased, or it cannot be accommodated on its own terms. This new constitutional effort must not be, as some people say, to meet Tamil aspirations. I mean, it has to be to find a saddle point between the Sinhala and Tamil, or Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim aspirations and apprehensions. It cannot be to meet the aspirations of one community or another community fully. It has to be to find a compromise. And you cannot, as Lord Salisbury told the Tamil representatives, you can't turn a majority into a minority and a minority into a majority. That said, I think we are way past saying, look, guys, come on, let's all just be together, because the Tamil people have a collective identity, just like a teenager has an identity, an individual identity. And they need an irreducible political space. Now, that political space has to be compatible with the cohesion and the indivisibility of the one state that has to run the island as a whole. You can't have a 1.5 state solution on a small island. You can't have a one state which will be pregnant with a proto-state, which is what federalism would be here, not in other parts, not in every part of the world. But that's a risk that even the Indonesians weren't willing to take with Aceh. It's a risk that the Philippines was not willing to take with Mindanao. I mean, why should we take that risk? But you do need devolution, the devolution track. What you can have is not an alternative to the devolution track. You can know the limits of the devolution track and you can have supplements, which is what I have suggested in terms of a Bill of Rights, like the American Civil Rights legislation, that makes absolutely sure that as citizens, everybody is treated equally.